Okay, that was a little bit too excited there. So guys, just got a book package. You'll be seeing that video later on. But I was waiting to film this video for this book package because it had some of the books that I read this month in it. Well, not this month anymore because it's January now. Love it for me. Time for my reading wrap up. Forgot about one. So, this month, of course, was a great reading month for me because I had winter break, so I got to read a lot. Don't look, guys. So, these are all the paperback books that I have with me, right? Holy crap, that's heavy. That's really heavy. Let me tell you when I ruined my sleep schedule because of reading. I might have stayed up till 8 a.m. reading. Not intentionally. I didn't mean to. It just happened. Let me see how many books I read. We read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books! Wow! Wow. Anyways, let's get into it. So, if you guys saw my... was it November? Yeah, it was what I read in November. I started the Shatter Me series. I haven't completed it yet. I have one more book and it's a novella. But I read the 4 books. So I read Restore Me, then I read Shatter Me, then I read Defy Me, then I read Reveal Me, and then I read Imagine Me. I thought that this was the last one, but there's actually one more novella left. It's called Believe Me. So that's that. I really don't know what to say because I can't like say anything about any of these 4 books right now. Because if I do, then I'll spoil the beginning and everything. But just know that this series, this series is like, that's how I feel about this series. So, if you guys want to hear me what is with this? Anyways, if you guys want to hear me summarize the Shatter Me series, and kind of give you a little dive into this dystopian universe, then go watch what I read in November. Anyways, and after that series, I have the physical book of this, but Kyleigh's borrowing it from me right now. It's The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. Kyleigh, she came over, she said that I actually had it. She's like, oh, can I borrow? I was like, of course, bae. I got it from the book of the month, which 10 out of 10 would recommend book of the month. Love her because here's the tea. You can like get hardback books for like a month. I have the monthly subscription and it is like 17 and some odd cents dollars, but then you can do add-ons and those hardback covers are just $10. Like you can literally buy any book you want with the book of the month that you chose for $10. Like I literally just bought these Violent Delights for $10 for a hardback. Girl, you tripping. But like, love it. So I technically go 2 hardcover books for like $27. Like, that's about the same price as just one hardback. Like, that is such a good deal. But then also, if you don't like the book of the month for that month, then you could totally skip that month and it doesn't charge you. So, love that. 10 out of 10 would recommend book of the month. But The Love Hypothesis, I love it so much. It is so good. There is a reason everybody's talking about it. Like I literally got Kyleigh on it and I got Morgan on it. They both loved it. Actually, I'm gonna change my rating. I gave it like a 4.5, but I'm changing it to a 5 because I love the book so much. It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna read Goodreads' little summary and I'm gonna give you my summary. Well, if I think there's details that need to be said. Okay, as a third-year PhD candidate, Olive Smith doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships, sorry guys, but her best friend does, and that's what got her into this situation, convincing, okay, it's A-N-H, I say on, I think it's just on, convincing on that Olive is dating and well on her way to happily ever after was always going to take more than hand-wavy Jedi mind tricks. Scientists require proof. Let me just pause this. Olive, they go to Stanford University, her and her friends, and also the interest of this book. And they're like biologists. So like any self-respecting biologist, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. That man is none other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor, a well-known beep. a butthole, little booty, which is why Olive is positively floored when Stanford's reigning lab tyrant agrees to keep her charade a secret and be her fake boyfriend. I love fake dating, it's so good. But when a big science conference goes haywire, putting Olive's career on the Bunsen burner, Adam surprises her again with his unyielding support and even more unyielding six-pack abs. Suddenly their little experiment feels dangerously close to combustion, and Olive discovers that the only thing more complicated than a hypothesis on love is putting her own heart under the microscope. Okay, so I worded this a little bit weirdly in the video, so I'm gonna tell you what I meant by it. Okay, so Anna, she is liking, I think the dude's name is Jeremy, which is Olive's ex-boyfriend. But she's trying to like tell Anna, like, I don't like him anymore. I didn't really care for him when I was even dating him like that. Like, I kind of liked him, but it wasn't really like serious. But she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that to you. So that's that. She thinks it'll be awkward for Olive and everybody, and it just won't be good. So she's in the biology department. She's doing something, she sees Anna walk by, she's like, oh, I don't even know what went through her mind. I think she planned this out where she saw him going by, so she's gonna kiss the person next to her and be like, oh yeah, we're dating, so she could see it. Well, the person that she kisses next to her is Adam Carlson, and he's a professor there. Yeah, a little Akotar. She like tells him all about the stuff, and then they like agree, and then they start fake dating. But then somewhere along the lines start to blur, blah blah blah. You get the gist. You know how fake dating goes in books. And it was really, really good. I give it like 4.87 stars. Okay, next book is, some people are gonna hate me. Whatever. It's A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. If you guys know, I ordered this back whenever I ordered It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. But I already have the whole Akotar collection, but I wanted to finish it off with the last book. I don't know if it's technically like if she's ending the series, but it's the last book for now. So I decided to read it. It was 4 out of 5 for me. More like a 3.97 for really getting technical here, but I don't know what to say because I can't really summarize it, because if I do, then that's gonna give off the whole Akotar thing, and I don't really want to go into explanation of Akotar and what it is. Some people like Akotar, some people don't. Oh, Akotar stands for A Court of Thorns and Roses. That's the first book. It was a good one. I think it was a really good way to end off the series for now. But Sarah J. Maas, I am expecting an Elaine book. Just so you know, if you are currently watching this right now, I am expecting a Elaine book. If you guys don't know, Feyre Archeron, she is the main girl in Akotar in the whole entire series. There's like 4 other books. This is the 5th one. This one focuses on her sister. Now, you know what? I'm just now getting why there is a mask on here. If you guys read it, you would know. You know what? I'm really realizing why stuff has the covers that it has. This book is about Feyre's sister, Nesta. She is a little bee. In all the other books, she always acted like she had to stick up her butthole. She really did. But in this book, we get to see, in all 751 pages, we get to know the story of Nesta, the tea of Nesta, why she's like this, why she acts like this. I think it really did good for Nesta. I'm glad that she had her own book. I would love a book on every single character and their background and everything. Like, give me a book on Amren. Girl. So, yeah, if you want to go see reviews on Akotar, I liked it. It depends on what you would like. With that said, let's move on to the next one. The next one is also a series, but I didn't read them all after each other. The series. Still think about it. I read it in the beginning of December, and I still think about it to this day. The Sweetest Oblivion by Danielle Laurie. This is a part of the Maid series. Is about Mafia men. Okay, so I first read The Sweetest Oblivion. I was obsessed with it. I loved it. It was so good. And I was like, no way is like any of the other ones gonna compare to this one. Oh my gosh. I don't have a favorite out of all 3 of them. Like, it is This girl put some witchcraft voodoo doo up in these 3 books. Like, also just, oh, they're just so gorgeous. Just look at that. They're so gorgeous, A. B, love, 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 love. First, let's start off with the Sweetest Oblivion. So, as I said before, this is about mafia men. So, let me read the Goodreads. She's a romantic at heart, living in the most unromantic of worlds. Mafia. Which, if you guys don't know Mafia, don't really know how to explain it. People kill people. People sell their daughters to make amends with mafias so that they don't kill them. They trade drugs. All of this stuff. So, the world that she lives in, she can't have that. But we'll get to that. Okay. Nicknamed Sweet Belly for her docile nature, Elena smiles on cue and has a charming response for everything. She's the favorite daughter, the perfect mafia principessa. Or was. Now, all she can see in the mirror's reflection is blood staining her hands like crimson paint. They say first impressions are everything. In the murky waters of New York's underworld, Elena's sister is arranged to marry Nicholas Russo. A made man, a boss, a cheat, even measured against mafia standards. His reputation stretches far and wide and is darker than his black suit and ties. After his and Elena's first encounter ends with an accidental glare at her part, she realizes he's just as rude as he is handsome. She doesn't like the man or anything he stands for, though that doesn't stop her heart from pattering like rain against glass when he's near, nor the shiver that goes down her spine at the sound of his voice. And he's always near, telling her what to do, making her feel hotter than any future brother-in-law should. Elena may be the sweet belly on the outside, but she's beginning to learn she has a taste for the darkness, for of hands, cigarettes, and whiskey-colored eyes, having already escaped one scandal. However, she can hardly afford to be swept up in another. Besides, even if he were hers, everyone knows you don't fall in love with the maid man. Right? Okay, so this is about Elena. Main love interest is Nicholas Russo. He's gonna be her future brother-in-law to Elena's sister, Adriana. This was really good. In all of these 3 books, the tension is off the charts. And this one especially, the build-up was there. If there's one thing that I love, she just fell over, in books is tension. I talked about this in the Tools of Engagement. I liked the book, but I wanted more tension. 10 out of 10, please. If you're okay reading Mafia romances, because it is really degrading. As everybody says, put your feminicity, I don't think so I say it, put your feminist side away. She's thrown away. Don't know her. I give it a point. The freak did I just say? I give it a 4.97, but I can't do that on Goodreads. Some things irked me a little bit that happen. I'm not gonna say what, but in every single book that I read, none of them is perfect, except for one book that I did just give 5 stars, and I don't know what book it was. So after the Sweetest Oblivion, I actually took a little pause on the Maid series, and I read Culti by Miranda Zapata. I read a Miranda Zapata book because I've been wanting to read Culti so bad. I give it a 3.97. I didn't give it a 4 yet on my Goodreads. She's at a 3.97. And here's the reason why. Love Miranda Zapata. Love slow burn. But dang, are her books slow burn. I'm still gonna read more. You absolutely know that I'm gonna read more of her books. But the slow burn was just, wow. Like 200 pages in, haven't even had a full conversation. Like, what the freak is going on? But it was a good book. It was a good book. I liked it. Let me tell you what it is. Quote unquote. Trust me, I've wanted to punch you in the face a time or 5. When the man you worshipped as a kid becomes your coach, it's supposed to be the greatest thing in the world. Keywords, supposed to. It didn't take a week for 27-year-old Sal Casillas to wonder what she's seen in an international soccer icon. Why she'd ever had his posters on her wall, or even envisioned marrying him and having super playing soccer babies. Sal had long ago gotten over the worst non-breakup in the history of imaginary relationships with a man who hadn't known she'd existed. Culti. His full name is Rainer Culti. Is the famous soccer player that is now her coach. So she isn't prepared for this version of Rainer Culti, who shows up to her team season, a quiet, reclusive shadow of the explosive, passionate man he had once been. So Rainer Culti is this famous soccer player, kind of like Messi, Bab, or Neymar. They're like huge in the soccer industry. Everybody knows who he is. Kyleigh, she loves playing soccer. What is up with this lighting? That's even worse. That doesn't help either. DIY lighting over here. Why did the lighting just change again? Kyleigh, she's a soccer player too. She has looked up to him since his first game ever aired on TV. She was literally one of the first people to actually send him fan mail. She's a soccer player and so is her brother. Her brother was on the English team, some team, and he was going against him, Culti. Well, Culti almost ended her brother's career. Got a little mad. So he hit him in the knee or something because soccer is vicious. If you never watched a soccer game, it's vicious. People get hurt. Soccer is a ruthless sport. It's really ruthless. Anyways, after that incident happened, she hated him. She never wanted to see eyes on him. Well, she's working for the Pipers right now. She's a professional soccer player. They need an assistant coach, and Culti steps in. So you get to see how that pans out, how it plays. Really like the book. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you can hold up to a slow burn. Next book. It's The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This book, I give it a 4.97 too. Actually, I give it a 4.89 because of something that happened at the end that I was like, oh, that happened. I feel like the end was a little bit rushed, and I think probably everybody can agree on me. But I guess when you know, you know. Okay. Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. It is so cute. I loved it. It was different from a romance that I've read before. I really like Kitty. Okay, I didn't really explain this. Like, what do you mean it's for, like, kids? No. I meant to say, like, it's, like, more wholesome and, like, cute compared to the other stuff that I read. Innocent? It was more innocent. I don't think there was, like, one cuss word in there. And if it was, like, it was a really minor cuss word, if there was. So that's what I'm trying to, like, get at. It was really wholesome and innocent compared to all the other books that I've read before. You know. Is it ever too late to leave the friend zone? Hi, my name is Bree Camden, and I'm hopelessly in love with my best friend and star quarterback, Nathan Donaldson. So is half of America, judging by the tabloids and how much the guy dates. The first step is admitting, right? Except I can never admit it to him because he clearly doesn't see me that way. And the last thing I want is for things to get weird between us. Nothing but good old-fashioned no-touching, the sexiest man alive platonic friendship for us. Everything exactly how I like it. Yes, good. I'm not crying, I'm just peeling an onion. Our friendship is going swimmingly until I accidentally spill my beans to a reporter over too much tequila, and now the world seems to think me and Nathan belong together. Oh, did I mention we have to date publicly for 3 weeks until after Super Bowl because we signed a contract with? Oops. Forgot I can't tell anyone about that. Bottom line is, now my best friend is smudging all the lines and acting very unplatonic, and I'm just trying to keep my body from bursting into flames every time he touches me. How am I going to make it through 3 weeks of fake dating Nathan without anything changing between us? Especially when it almost sorta kinda seems like he's fighting for a completely different outcome. Send help. XO, Bree. Bree Cheese! My lovely little bestie girl. This is best friends romance, but also fake dating romance. Bree Camden is a ballet teacher, and Nathan is a quarterback for the Sharks? I don't know. It's dual POV, by the way. So you get to see Bree's and Nathan's, where their mindset is. So Bree, she likes Nathan, and she's like, no, I'm in the friend zone, I can't do that. Well, guess what? Nathan thinks the same thing. And every single time he says anything, like, that he's trying to, like, get out of the friend zone, she friend zones him without even, like, because she starts getting, like, feeling like she's getting out of the friend zone, but then she's like, no, he didn't mean it like that. So then she makes sure it seems like that, but he's like, oh, she just friend zoned me again. Anyways, it was a really cute book. 10 out of 10 would recommend it. Please read it. I love it. It was so cute. And I'm probably going to read more Sarah Adams books because it was really good. Next book I read was a fun little holiday one. It was Jiggle Wars by R. Holmes and Veronica Eden, or Eden, either one. This book, 5 out of 5. 5 out of mother freaking 5. So cute. Loved it. Christmas vibes all around. It was so good. I love this book. Please read it. It's enemies to lovers, so that's probably why it's really good. 2 inns, 1 town, and there's not enough room for both of them. Add in a reindeerish donkey, a Christmas competition, and a rivalry to end all rivalries, and you're bound to end up in disaster, right? Finn Mayberry has enough on his plate trying to keep his grandparents afloat. The last thing he needed was some California state of mind starlet bulldozing into his town and throwing up a 5-star resort right next to his family's inn. But now she's here and he can't get her out of his town or his head. Farrah Anderson took one look at the snow-capped mountains of Holly Ridge and fell in love. She's finally here and ready to take on the task of proving to her father that she can handle running Alpine, which is the inn. She never expected to make enemies with the sinfully delicious lumberjack of a man who runs the index store. He's moody, impossible, and completely off limits. There can only be one winner. But you know what they say. All is fair in love in Jiggle Wars? It was so cute. And in the beginning, it was so funny because they meet and he doesn't know that she's from the Alpine. So the tension. One of the reasons I gave it a 5 out of 5 because the tension was so good. They actually like each other and they're like kind of flirting. She like realizes that she's the inn next to him, and he's like, oh. Funny, we're gonna be enemies now. It was kind of like, okay, guess so. Guess we're doing that now. Which was funny because I was like, I thought they were supposed to be enemies. Like, it was an enemies lovers, but then they were like friends in the beginning and then it went to enemies. So good. I loved this book. Yeah, I think that really did a good explanation of the book. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Oh, except for it's actually like a competition in the book. Is Jiggle Wars, and they're fighting for like money. So that's one of the reasons where Finn found out he wants to win because the prize of the money is like $100,000 and his grandparents own it. So he's like, I gotta pay for it, you know. I need to help them stay afloat. So that's that. That's the two. Okay, next book I read was Trapped with You by Marzi Opal. Hate the cover. I gave it like a 4 out of 5. We're like a 3.97. It was a good book. It just, some of the things that happened irked me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what the frick. Okay. Welcome to St. Victoria's 21st Annual Initiation Night, a corrupted ceremony where the cheerleading and hockey teams pledge their allegiance to a secret circle of elite students. A game of debauchery on the grounds of a haunted convent turned high school. Filled with dares and a hearty dose of wickedness, a night for saints to witness the morally depraved waltzing with their demons in the confinement of St. Victoria's secret roaded walls. Ella, 18. Cheerleader, Southside princess, a good girl was what they called me. But I was bad to the bone, and there was only one boy who knew how to bring out the rebel in me. Too bad he had to go ahead and break my heart. Too bad I got paired with him for initiation night. Cade Killian Remington, with his beautiful blue eyes, bad boy aura, and sinful touch, was the bane of my existence. Cade, 18, hockey player, Southside's Principin. 2 years ago, I traded my cards for new ones and landed at St. Victoria, where I met the girl of my dreams. I may have Remington blood coursing through my veins, but I was no fool. St. Victorians still saw me as trash. Everyone except for one girl, Ellie Zemina, I don't know, something like that, Cordova. With her flawed gaze and playful grin was burning inside of me. Too bad she now hated my freaking guts. Too bad I broke her heart one fateful night 3 months ago, and now we are trapped together in our very own nightmare. Looks like it's just you and I in this hellhole, sweetheart. It's a second chance romance because Cade and Ellie, they originally dated, but then something happened and they broke up, and Ella hates him now because he broke her heart, which you'll figure out why. It keeps on going, like, in the book, it kept on going, like, back and forth, and you did get dual POV. So you could see what happened during that time and then what's happening now. It was a really good book. Really liked it, but something that happened irked me, and I was like, really? 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 You had to go and do that, you idiot. So, but it was very good. The tension was so good. You could cut it with a knife, and I love that. You should read it. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone it's your cup of tea, if it's your cup of tea. A second chance romance. I don't know if it's my cup of tea. I really don't. I just don't know how I feel about second chance romances. So there's that. But if you like it, you'll probably like it. And I don't know what else to say. So I went back into the Maid series. The Darkest Obsession. Maddest Obsession. Okay, let me give you the gist of these books. So, this is about Nicholas and Elena. Nicholas has his friend that is introduced in here, Christian. This is Christian's book. And it has Gianna in it. Gianna is Nico's stepmother? He married her mom, but he's only like a year or 2 years older than her. Okay, so, I didn't really explain this at all. Nico's dad married Gianna, okay, but then in that book, The Maddest Obsession, you see, well, in the Sweetest Oblivion, you're introduced to Gianna and that she married his dad, but then he, like, died, but they don't really explain how. But in The Maddest Obsession, they do say it, and then he dies, and then Nico makes her pick another man to marry because it was, like, an agreement that he married the dad, so then she has to have another agreement to marry the other dude. It's the Mafia, okay? It's really weird how stuff happens in these books. So she marries another dude, but then he's like older, so then he like dies in that book, and then she's like single again. So you do get introduced to her new husband, well, like in kind of just like a name in the Sweetest Oblivion. But it's funny because in the Sweetest Oblivion you get to see what happens, and then you get to the Maddest Obsession and it goes through like what happened to, and you get to see like Gianna and Christian's POV of like what happened. It's really cool. That's what I liked about it, is that like it's in like the same timeline basically. So right off the bat I got like 8% and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't get it, so I kind of like DNF'd it a little bit, but then I realized I'm gonna finish it, and I'm so glad that I did. This book, in the beginning, it goes back and forth. So like it's dual POV. It starts at Christian. It's 2015. And then we go over. It's 2012. Then we go over. And it's 2013. We go over. It's 2015. We go over. It's 2014. We go over. It's 2015 again. We go over. It's 2015. And then here's part 2, which is the present. So basically in the beginning, Christian is talking to this therapist lady about something, and then while that's happening, it goes to flashbacks of kind of what he's talking about, and you kind of understand it a little bit more. So, her dresses are too tight, her heels too tall. She laughs too loudly, eats without decorum, and mixes up most sayings in the book. Little did most know, it's just a sparkly disguise, there to hide one panic attack at a time. Nobody can crack Jonah's facade, no one anyway, until he comes along. Most see a paragon of morality, a special agent upholding the law. In the New York underworld, others know him as a hustler, a killer. His nature as cold as the heart of ice in his chest. Christian Allister has always followed the life planning of Vigid in his youth, beneath the harsh lights of frigid damp cell with a proclivity for order and the number 3. You would get it if you read it. He's never been tempted to veer off course, but perhaps one should never say never. One winter night, and their lives intertwine. She hates him, his stone-cold demeanor, his arrogance, and too-perspective eye. But over the years, even as their games consist of insulting each other's looks and intelligence, she begins to live to play with him. Nowhere in Christian's plans has he ever prepared for Gianna. She's chaos embodied, not his type, and married. But none of that can stop his eye from following her wherever she goes. All along, she doesn't even know that she's his frustration, his fascination, his maddest obsession. But I give it a 4 out of 5, but a 4.97. It was really good. I 10 out of 10 would recommend. Go read this. But this is about New York's Mafia. This one introduces a new Mafia. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, which is Christian's Mafia. Okay, so I actually don't know if it's Christian's Mafia or not. Like, I don't know if he's in it. I think he is in it, but I'm not quite sure, so please don't quote me on it. But I don't know. You'll figure out what I mean by that. But Christian has a brother, Ronin. Holy crap. Y'all, my heart just freaking dropped like a bomb. Okay. Anyways, The Darkest Temptation is about Christian's brother, Ronin. We get introduced to the big R. I'm saying that again. A fortune teller once told Mila she'd find a man who would take her breath away. She refrained from telling her it would be literally when Mila ran for her life. Having always done what is expected of her, Mila dresses the part, only dates college boys with exemplary backgrounds, and doesn't ask questions. Not about her papa's absences or his refusal to let her set foot in her birthplace, Russia. Suffocated by the rules and unanswered questions, Mila does what she always wanted to. She boards a plane to Moscow. Moscow never sleeps. Wait. No, I did a dance to that song. We really danced to the song. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, she boards a plane to Moscow, never sleeps. She never expected to fall for a man on the way. One with unexplained wealth, tattoos on his hands, and secrets in his eyes. But it doesn't take long for his caress to become a rough grass muffling her screams. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Unfortunately, our Russian winter is the coldest of them all. And Mila soon learns that the only way to escape intact is to do the impossible and thaw her captor's heart. Why does that look perfect, Ronin? I'm on your face. I just want to know, actually, whose bag is this? Ronin, I love you, but I also hate you so very much for what you did in this book. But you made up for it. I need to go back through all of this and kind of reread it because Russian's Ronin. I literally just said Russian's Ronin. Ronin is Russian. So a lot of the time, he says Ronin phrases. I mean, he says Russian phrases. But you must be knowing while I was reading this, I had Google Translate up, translating every single sentence that he said. Some of it did translate what it was. Some of it didn't. After that, I don't need a Russian teacher, I just need Ronin. All I'm gonna say. Okay, last book that I read this month was Ugly Love by Coho. I don't know how she does it. Regretting You, I didn't cry. It ends with us, I didn't cry till the author's note. And then Ugly Love, she does come at you with the twist endings. Yes, she does. I expected it. I was expecting something else. She didn't give me that. She gave me something else. I had to hold back the tears because I was not about to cry. I was like, no, I can't. I'm not crying. Nope. After it, I finally figured out the cover of it. Yeah, 5 stars. I give this book 5 stars because I have no bad things about it. Some things did irk me, but it was beautiful. Love the way it ended. It was so good. When Tate Collins meets airplane pilot Miles Archer, she knows it isn't love at first sight. They wouldn't even go as far to consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles have in common is an undeniable mutual attraction. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize that they have the perfect setup. He doesn't want love, she doesn't have time for love, so that just leaves. Their arrangement could be surprisingly seamless, as long as Tate can stick to the only 2 rules Miles has for her. Never asks about the past, don't expect a future. Okay, they think they can handle it. Yeah, baby! They think they can handle it. Hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, and love gets ugly. It was a really good book. Colleen Hoover, I don't know how the freak you do it. 10 out of 10 Rebecca French, please go read it. It's so good, and the message is so good, and I kind of broke me. So Tate, she is a nurse. She's getting her degree, but she also works at a hospital. Well, she has a brother, Corbin, and she goes to live with him at his apartment. He has a neighbor, Miles, which is his best friend. Well, the first time that they meet, he's drunk off of his face. She has to let him into the apartment. That's how they first meet. Then everything starts happening. And she starts liking him. She's like, ew, I can't like him. He starts liking her. They go into a mutual agreement. But we all know you can't just have that. You can't just have that. There's feelings aroused and everything, and that's exactly what happens. He did go through something. What kept me reading the whole entire time? He had something happen to him 6 years earlier. So it says that it's 6 years earlier. It tells you what happened and everything, and I like books that do that. Kind of like People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I love that book so much. So the whole entire time it goes into the past and you're like, what happened? Oh my gosh, what happened? Why is he like this? So you just keep on and keep on reading. So that is all the books that I read this month. Best reading month. All of my books that I read this month are so good that I've literally thought about them 20 times. I've thought about every single encounter that Culti has had with Sal after I read it. And I still think about it. Ronin, I still think about it. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Mwah. I love ya.